Hi, I'm back with another chapter, and the chapter is chapter 9, and let's read it. Chapter 9. Yahoo! Yelled Sungjin as he ran to the water. It's how Korean kids say yippee! Sora and I followed him. Sungjin and I were carrying the big floaties while Sora had a pink donut around her waist. Stay in the shallow area for a bit before you venture farther. Farther, Dad reminded us. Okay, I replied as we splashed into the shallow area. The water was cold and felt really nice in the summer heat. It was so clear that I could see the pebbles on the bottom. A great big splash hit my face. Hey! I cried out. Sungjin gave me a big grin. You can splash me back. Let's have a splashing fight. I did what he said when we laughed. Sora joined in too, and soon all three of us were soaking wet. When we got bored of splashing, we pulled our floaties into the deeper water and swam around with the other kids. Mulberry was the perfect summer activity. After a while, though, I got hungry. Yummy smells of Korean barbecue drifted to where we were playing in the water. Lunchtime, said Dad. Kunapa was grilling barbecue on the portable stove while the other adults laid out Korean pancake, kimchi, and Julie's kimbap picnic style on the dojerry. Sungjin, Sora, and I changed into dry clothes and helped too, laying out plates and chopsticks for everyone. And then we all started eating. The barbecue grilled by Kunapa was good, but so was Julie's kimbap. It was so much better with all the right ingredients. This is amazing, Dad said as he ate one of the pieces. He gave Julie a hug. Good job. My grandparents tried the kimbap too. This is wonderful, Grandma said. You did great. She smiled at Julie, and Julie looked really happy when Dad translated what she said. While we were eating, Sora told everyone about how bad the kimbap had tasted when Julie first made it. They thought sugar was salt, she said. So funny. Everyone laughed, even my grandparents. I blushed. I guess next time I shouldn't be afraid to ask for help, I said. Yep, there's no shame in not knowing something, Mindy, Dad said. And I'm sure your cousins will be more than happy to help you. Yeah, Sungjin said. It's okay. I'm not very good at reading English, so we were even. I can help too, Sora said. Don't forget about me. Everyone laughed again. Sora was so cute. After we ate, we played some more until it started to get dark. Kunama turned on our lamps and we sat around in a circle on the dojerry. Dad made us ramen noodles using the portable stove, and we ate them with kimchi. It was simple, but it was the perfect dinner for a camping trip. Kunapa got out his guitar and sang us old Korean songs. Dad and Grandpa sang along too. This was my first time hearing Dad sing in Korean. Julie and I cheered extra hard for Dad. Suddenly, Sora gasped and pointed at the woods near our seat. Look, she she said. Fireflies. I'd never seen fireflies before, and I loved how small and bright they were. Their golden lights blinked on and off as they floated around. It was almost like they were dancing to the music. Afterwards, we spread out on the dochary and looked up at the night sky. We could see so many stars from here, and the crescent moon was bright. Mindy, Dad whispered, isn't it really cool how, even though we're now in Korea, we can still see the same moon as the one that's visible in Florida? Yeah, I said, it makes the world seem a lot smaller. I was going to miss my family so much when we went back to America. But it made me feel better that no matter where I was, I'd always be looking at the same moon. Chapter 10. All too soon, it was our last night in Korea. We'd only been here for 2 weeks, but I felt like I was going back home as a brand new person. I did so many new foods, learned so many things about Korean culture, and bought lots of cool stuff. I'd also studied Korean a lot too. Julie tried making foods again, but this time everyone helped out. My cousins helped Julie and me get all the ingredients at the grocery store, and Grandma cooked with Julie. It was a family team effort. Watching Julie and Grandma preparing food together made me really happy. Even though they couldn't understand each other through words, they were able to communicate through smiles and food. Together, they made so many yummy things like japchae, bulgogi, and dumplings. I helped what I could do. By the time we were done, my stomach was growling a lot. Everything smelled so good. The whole family sat down for our last family dinner. While we ate, Grandma and Grandpa gave a speech in Korean. Dad translated in English so Julie and I could understand everything. We were really sad to lose Hee-jung, Grandpa said using Mom's Korean name. She was such a good wife and mother, and we all loved her so much. We were afraid our son wouldn't be happy again. But then he met Julie, and it's been so nice to see him smile. Welcome to our family, Julie, added Grandma. Thank you for everything you do for our son. Everyone at the table had happy tears, and Dad hugged Julie really tight. The next day, we were done loading our suitcases into Dad's rental car when Grandpa said, Minjung, can Harmony and I speak to you in the living room? I looked at Dad, but he shrugged. You should go ahead and see what your grandparents want to say to you, Mindy. We will have time. We still have time. In the living room, my grandparents were sitting on the floor cushions. They had serious look on their faces. I hoped they weren't mad at me. I sat down on the cushion in front of them. Grandpa didn't smile at me when I sat. He looked kind of scary. Minjung, since this is your last day in Korea, your Harmony and I wanted to talk to you. Just the three of us. Sure, Harabaji. What is it? I asked. Don't get to see you often. We don't get to see you often like we get to see Sora and Sungjin. So we wanted to give you some words of wisdom before you left. Grandparents in Korea give their grandchildren advice all the time if they live close to each other. But since you live so far away, I hope this advice will help you in the next school year. First of all, Grandma said, be nice to everyone, even when they are not nice to you. You never know who will end up being your friend. And it's good to have as many friends as you can. And listen to your dad and other adults, added Grandpa. But also, you don't be afraid to do what you think is right. You're a smart girl, Minjung. Don't forget that. Last but not least, said Grandma, believe in yourself and your ability to achieve your dreams. You have a bright future ahead of you, and you will be a great person one day. When Grandma finished, Grandpa reached behind him and got a thick, white envelope. He handed it to me with a sly smile. Don't tell your dad we gave you this, okay? He said. It's a special secret gift from us to you. I looked into the envelope. Wow, I said. That's a lot of American money. Your Harabaji and I went to the bank to convert the money so you can spend it with your friends back home, Grandma explained. Wow, thanks, Harabaji, I exclaimed. We all went in for a big group hug. I felt so safe and warm in my grandparents' arms. I wished I could hug them forever. I started crying. I was going to miss them so much. Don't cry, Mindy, said Grandpa. Remember, we're always only a phone call away. And, Grandma added with a grin, I have a feeling we'll see each other again very soon. She glanced back at where Dad and Julie were laughing together by the door and gave me a big wink. Chapter 11. When it was time for us to leave, the entire family came down to the parking lot to say goodbye. Hope you had a good visit, Minjung, Kunapa said. I did, I said. Thanks so much for everything, Kunapa. Dad, Julie, and I went around to say goodbye to everyone. Sora, Sungjin, and I promised to keep in touch. They'd always been my cousins, but now they were also my friends. Before I got in the car, I hugged Grandma and Grandpa again one last time. As we were driving away, we looked back and saw my family waving at us. My grandparents were smiling, but they were also crying. I started crying again, too. I really hoped I would see them again soon, just like Grandma said I would. The drive to the airport seemed a lot slower than the one to my relatives' apartments, and so did the flight. Even though I knew we had to go back home, a large part of me didn't want to leave. I fell asleep on the plane, and when I woke up, we were back in the United States. The trip to Korea seemed like a long, good dream. When we landed back home in Florida, Dad's phone went off. He checked it and smiled. "Aw, look at this, Mindy." He showed me his phone. It was a picture of Theodore and Oliver lying side by side with their tongues sticked out. Below it was a text from Eunice that said, "Waiting for you to come back home." I smiled for the first time since we left Korea. I was still sad from leaving my family behind, but I was so excited to see Theodore again. After we left the airport, we dropped Julie back at her house. "Thanks for being my cooking partner in crime, Mindy," she said. Julie gave me a big hug before she got out of the car. "It was so special to be in Korea with you and your dad," I smiled. I was really happy she came on the trip with us too. And then, finally, it was time to pick up Theodore. When we arrived, I could hear Theodore and Oliver barking in the house. "Welcome back," Eunice said as she opened the door. Theodore ran straight to me and jumped up and down. I picked him up and he licked my face. "I missed you so much, Theodore," I said. "Did you have a good time with Oliver?" Theodore wagged his tail. He couldn't talk, but he looked happy. And I was so glad to see him again. When I got home, Dad unloaded our suitcases. "We can unpack everything tomorrow," he said. "Let's get showered and go to bed." After sleeping on the floor for 2 weeks, I was so happy to get into my own bed. It felt like I was lying on the cloud. Theodore cuddled up next to me, lying next to me like he always did. I'd missed this so much. Dad came into my room to tuck me in. Did you have a fun time, Mindy?" Dad asked. "You can be honest since it's just you and me." "Yeah," I said. "It wasn't fun at first, but I had a really good time in the end. Everyone was so nice and we did so many cool things." Dad smiled. "That's good. I'm glad you liked it. And I think your Korean improved so much as well." "Yep," I replied. "I became more of an expert." Dad laughed and kissed me goodnight. After he left, I snuggled close to Theodore and fell asleep, dreaming of walking around the royal palace with my grandparents. And that was the end of this chapter and end of this book. And I will be back with another book. Bye!